To the Coffee and Daydreaming podcast, the podcast where dreams come alive and productivity gets a dose of caffeine. I'm Amy, your BFF, encouraging you to live your dreams while we level up, glow up, but also trying to figure out how to relax and chill. Oh, goodness. I bet you're an ambitious person with a billion things going on, and you can't help but your nervous system be all weird and stuff. But we're gonna relax, guys. We're figuring it all out. I say, you know what? We might be figuring life out, but let's make it a party while we do. Okay? Anyway, cheers, friend. Step into the coffee shop. This I won't break this mug is available in my Etsy shop. I don't have a niche. And I wanted to show you guys some Coffee and Daydreaming merch. Here's the Coffee and Daydreaming tie-dye shirt. I will be wearing this to the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard show. Still far away, but whatever. I'm excited. And of course, Coffee and Daydreaming podcast poster available at www.com. Also, my other thing I'm super excited about is Dreamtime. So, Dreamtime is the handcrafted productivity timer. You set the timer, you write the task down on the chalkboard. Because I don't know if you're like me, but when I go to work, sometimes I zone out and I'm like, what am I doing? Anyway, and the disco ball is simply there to remind you when the break's over, guys, when the timer goes off, have a dance party just in your room. Put on your favorite song from when you were 11. It works. And this little heart thing, okay, check this out.
You get things done easily and effortlessly. You are so smart.
If you need motivation, okay, I will be your cheerleader from afar. And you can customize it too. You want to customize it, there's a little box that you write down when you order it at coffeeanddaydreaming.com. You could write down the name. I'll be like, "Focus, Tom. You got this." Anyway, so that's Dream Time. And then of course we have Dream Nudge, the goal setting party packet, in which give you all of the printouts here. So it goes like that. And then it comes with a bunch of cool materials. You beautify your goals with that. You decorate a pen, and so on. So check that out. Dream Nudge, the party packet, goal setting workshop. Now let's get into it. Just to do a little coffee break confession here. I was at the bus station. I was at Port Authority the other day, and I held the door, and the person did not say thank you. Now, I'm one for manners. Say thank you. And so old me, have you ever had your like healed unhealed version or the healed version come back? That's the thing, guys. This self work stuff is nonstop, which is exciting, but be careful. That's why you got to do the work. And anyway, yeah, I held the door and she didn't say thank you. She's like this. She's for those of you on audio, I'm doing impression of a lady I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions. It's more of a vibe. It's more of a I want Tiffany's and Prada and Louis Vuitton, which no judgment. Hey, I'll take Louis Vuitton. I'll take Tiffany's. I love diamonds. But anyway, so she's like, I want to be like, oh, you're welcome. You're I had to breathe, guys. I was like, breathe. This has nothing to do about you. You don't know this girl. How am I taking this personal? That's the thing. And then I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's so silly. I don't know this person, so why am I getting all heated? Manners, I care. Come on, teach your kids manners." But simple thank you. Anyway, I digress. You can only control your reactions. Remember that. And just remember that a lot of times things have nothing to do about you. Like maybe this girl had a burp. Maybe she had a wedgie. I don't know. So maybe she was in pain. So that was what spurred this thing of let me do the topic. Yeah, let's do research. Let's do research. And anyway, cut to it appears frequently in our lives, I believe, this past weekend, I was going grocery shopping with somebody, and they were like, "Oh my god," they were like, "I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm going to check out, okay? Meet me in the car." They had a car, I had a car, and so I was like, "Oh, is there anything I can do for you?" Or but it was just like, "Meet me in the car." So at checkout, the cashier was being all, "How are you?" All chipper, and the person was like, just like visually in pain and not really responding to the kind, chipper, "Oh, I'm doing good." So that person goes to the car. I'm checking out. Then in comes somebody to help the cashier lady, like help somebody bag. And that person goes, "They had a real attitude, didn't they?" I'm in Jersey, guys, typical. No, and a part of me, I felt myself. Now they had no idea that I knew this person. The protective part of me wanted to be like, "They're having a really hard week," because I knew the truth. "They're having a really hard week, and they might have a heart attack," and it's I wanted to be like that, but I was like, "No, it's just no." That's never so then I'm like, should I just say, "Oh, hey, yeah, they think they're gonna have a heart attack, so disregard." But then I'd be eavesdropping. What do? I mind my own business. I mind my own business. I hope the kind cashier did not take it personal. It reminded me, I was like, oh, the person ended up being okay, by the way, just under a lot of stress. But long story short, I hope I feel bad, like even now. You can't feel bad for anyway, let it go. But it goes to show you a lot of people are in genuine pain when, you know, if they give off like an attitude vibe or whatever. So this episode is all about not taking things personally and just staying centered in our own energy. So, method one, let's talk about Socratic questioning. Apologies if I say it wrong. Socratic questioning, it's a method of critical thinking that involves asking and answering questions to stimulate rational thinking and illuminate ideas. Socratic questioning originated with the philosopher Socrates in ancient Greece. Socrates engaged in dialogues with fellow citizens in Athens using probing questions to challenge assumptions and stimulate critical thinking. Source of that is Plato's dialogue and Xenophon's writing. Plato was a student of Socrates. Okay, the term Socratic questioning gained prominence in modern educational literature, particularly in the works of educational theorists like John Dewey and Paulo Freire, who emphasized the importance of inquiry based learning and critical thinking in education. Socratic questioning became a fundamental technique in educational psychology. A lot of CBT is based on Socratic questioning. Okay, so here are some strategies on how to apply Socratic questioning to next time you are taking something personally. Here we go. One, identify assumptions. Recognize your assumption underlying the belief or conclusion. Okay, so next time you're thinking something, ask yourself, what assumptions are you making here? So, is it even worth assuming the worst? Not really. I'm Delulu. I'll be Delulu. I try. I've found it's so much easier to just assume the best. You know what I mean? But you gotta be cautious. But okay, so clarify with yourself. And because your brain can think one thought, but be vague, and then it's that black or white thinking that spirals you into the depths of despair sometimes. Ask yourself, what do I mean by this? What okay, clarify. So if somebody says something like a little nasty to you, you could ask, "Oh, hey, could you explain what you meant by that?" I bet you if you ask them, they'd Maybe they'd realize that what they said was a little rude. You know what I mean? Okay, so also probe for evidence. What evidence supports your conclusion? How reliable is this evidence? You'll find a lot of times the stuff we say in our heads, it's not that reliable because a lot of it is based off of assumptions. Another thing that's good is there a counter evidence of this? For example, if you think someone was being rude, can you counter it? Oh, in a way that they were being polite. Could you think of it like that way? Might be a little helpful. Okay. And then examine the consequences. So, what would happen if your belief turned out to be false? How does this belief align with your long term goals? That's interesting because, for example, if my brain just continued to cling on the rude person who I opened the door and didn't say thank you, if my brain just kept clinging on to that thought all day in rumination mode, and then I thought, how does this belief align with my long term goals? It would just almost hilariously be like, "Oh, yeah, no, new thought." Like a button. Maybe what if we imagine a button? New thought, new thought. Oh, I like that. That's what we're gonna do, guys. Next time. Ooh, yes, like those levers. Let's do that. Okay, those levers at a slot machine and the thing go doo. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna hit the lever for a new match. Next time you have an unhelpful thought. New thought. Do There we go. Now consider alternate perspectives. Consider viewpoints other than your own. And this is good. And this is why I do like it when you do have that friend who does play devil's advocate. A part of you wants to be like, stop. But also another part of you is true. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see it like that. Sometimes we need those, but you could be devil's advocate to yourself. Why might someone disagree with the viewpoint? If I told somebody about the dopey door story, they might be like, "They didn't have to say thank you for you holding the door." What? Mine was particularly just merely a pet peeve, actually. And then, okay, also challenge logical fallacies. So point out any logical fallacies present in reasoning. You might ask yourself, is this argument based on evidence or just attacking the person? And then encourage reflective thinking. You could ask yourself, how did I arrive at that feeling? They didn't say thank you at the door, whatever. You don't know that person. You don't even know that person. Are there any biases that might influence your thinking? Are there any gaps or weaknesses in your thinking? Yeah, that. So pretty much just asking questions. And I'm not even kidding. It's almost life changing asking questions. I know when I was in our writer's block, somebody said, "Oh yeah, it's easy. Just ask yourself the 5 W's: who, what, when, where." And when I remembered to do it, I'm like, "Oh, this works. Like, nice, thank you." You can always, because it trains your brain to be solution based or just think logically instead of emotion based. Okay, and then also we're going to think about how to not take things personally. Also, Abraham Hicks, I think I mentioned last week. I like Abraham Hicks. If you don't, that's okay because that's why I'm presenting 3 different philosophies on how to help, just to present different options and so you could pick whatever you resonate most with. Okay. So Abraham Hicks, it's pseudonym for Esther Hicks, and she teaches principles rooted in the law of attraction and spiritual growth. So here's some strategies from Abraham Hicks that might be aligned with how to stop taking things so personally. Okay, most likely she would say focus on your emotional guidance. Abraham Hicks often discusses the importance of emotions as indicators of alignment. Okay, she's mentioned it in a lot of workshops and books. Ask and It's Given, Learning to Manifest Your Desires by Jerry and Esther Jerry Hicks. Think of your feelings as a compass. One time about 7 years ago, I told somebody about this theory about your feelings are your compass. And then 5 years later, he goes, "Compass." And I go, "What?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Your compass." I'm like, I don't get it." And he goes, "Remember you said the feelings are your compass?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot about that." And he thinks about it all the time too. I was like, "That's so cool you remember that. There's something to it." But also your feelings lie and it's all for you to sift, but sometimes it can be an indicator of, "Hey, maybe this is just not meant for me." That's okay. Okay, shift your perspective. Abraham Hicks frequently emphasizes shifting perspectives to align with more empowering beliefs in materials such as the vortex, where the law of attraction assembles all cooperative relationships by Esther and Jerry Hicks. For example, she'll have somebody with a question and she'll go through going to better feeling thoughts. Okay. So you can't go from mad to happy just like that, but you could go maybe mad to angry to weirded out to empty to satisfied to grateful to tickled to relieved to work your way up. And that's why you got to change your perspective, or how can you shift your perspective? For example, how can we shift our perspective about the door? And I'm using the door because it's just like such a general example. How could in the moment shift the perspective about the door? At first, I was annoyed, like, wow, people are so rude. But you could think, you know what? Hey, at least I held the door. I'm proud of my you could pat yourself on the back. Hey, you know what? I'm glad I held the door. It felt good to help somebody out. It feels good that I still did on my part. And then you could shift your perspective on, maybe this isn't such a good example because it's so like surface layer that it's actually difficult to go deep because there's not much to it. But for this, maybe you could shift your example to shift your perspective to how pretty the sky is. Like, oh, look at the sky, or oh, that building looks cool, or ooh, I think I'm gonna have dessert. Or, you know what I mean? Shift. Sometimes I think of my thoughts like I'm throwing a ball, like when I'm stuck in the gutter, we'll say, which we all do. I throw myself a ball and start thinking better thoughts. Okay, release attachment to others' opinions. So, this principle is central to Abraham Hicks' teaching in relation to focusing on one's vibration rather than seeking validation from others. And this was often discussed in various workshops and books like The Law of Attraction, The Basic Teachings of Abraham by Esther and Jerry Hicks. So I like that. So focus on your own vibration rather than seeking the validation from others. Release attachment. And it's not to say, oh, be self-absorbed, but it's just saying like be in your own energy in a way of recognizing that took you out of your alignment, and then work on shifting your perspective and detaching the importance of it. Oh yeah, it's nothing. It's not a big deal, really. Focus on self-love and our alignment, and then also focus on what you can control. So in the door situation, I'll drop the door situation after this. The only thing it's in your control is to be like, there's nothing in your control about that. If someone's not going to say thank you, they're not going to say thank you. And it means nothing to you. You know what I mean? If some they don't know you. So anyway. All right, I got the selenite wand. Okay, so moving on to the next approach is more therapeutic exercises and strategies to help you rewire your thoughts and stop taking things so personally. Identify and challenge cognitive distortions. Keeping a journal is helpful, where you could journal, and then the CBT list. I found a really cute list on CBT with emojis. Just type it into Google, it pops right up. And you can go through your thoughts that way, which is similar to the Socratic thinking. Practice thought replacement. You can identify a more balanced and realistic interpretation of the situation by replacing the negative and self critical thought with a more compassionate and objective one. For example, I heard once that when you're taking things personally, you're either blaming someone or you're being self-critical. So I heard that, I was like, "Oh, that's true." We're either blaming someone or we're being very self-critical on ourselves. So both are not pleasant. Of course, affirmation, self-talk, self-compassion. Sometimes I forget about being compassionate to ourselves. A way to practice self-compassion, write yourself a love letter. Do that. That's going to be your homework, okay? Let's move into Dreamers Challenge really quick. Dreamers Challenge, so that's going to be the challenge is every night I want you to write a love letter to yourself, and we're not talking like a big massive letter because then you'll procrastinate it if you're like me. However, just something like quick before you go to bed or when you wake up. Hey, you did a great job. Hey, I love how you handled that. Okay, so we're going to work on self compassion. I think the main thing is taking self blame off yourself, blame off the other person, and take responsibility for our own actions. Okay, so I can't control that, but here's what I can control. You know what I mean? And be self compassion. We might be critical on ourselves as others. Maybe we're being critical on others as well. And then also just work on what feels good. Maybe have a little bit of humor with not personal. I don't know that person. So how could it be personalized? So anyway, all right, guys. We're gonna close out this episode with a couple affirmations. So here we go. I release the need to take things personally. I release the need to take things personally. I am resilient and capable of maintaining my inner peace. I choose to see situations from a broader perspective, understanding that others' actions are often not about me. I am worthy of love and respect, regardless of other people's opinions and behaviors. Ooh, I like that one. Remember that. I'm worthy of love and respect, regardless of other people's opinions and behaviors. Have you ever had it where someone was genuinely rude to you? And it like you double thought you overthought yourself into thinking there was something wrong with you. Don't go there. No, no, no. You're perfect. You're perfect. A lot of times people will do that to control you. I had an ex once. He would call me names and it was a form of control. It was a form of control. And the scary thing is, but a human brain, if you don't stand by yourself, you start thinking it's true. So be careful out there. Be careful. Be careful. We are safe and safer. Yes. Okay. Have your own back. Okay. I trust in my ability to navigate challenges with grace and confidence. Ooh, grace. What a great word. Without internalizing negativity. Ooh, the word internalizing reminds me of your insides, which remind me, oh my gosh, have you ever had your heart rate so fast, your face is flushed because it does affect your insides. You stress, guys. Let's re- rewire the stress. I let go of the need for validation from others. My worth comes from within, and I am enough just as I am. I'm in control of my reactions and responses. I choose peace and understanding over defensive. I release the burden of taking responsibilities for others' actions or words. I focus on what I can control, my own thoughts and behaviors. I embrace empathy and compassion towards myself and others, recognizing we are all human and imperfect. I am open to receiving feedback without feeling attacked or diminished. Ooh, wow. I'm going to read that again. I'm open to receiving feedback without feeling attacked or diminished. I see criticism as an opportunity for growth and also we don't need to be careful with that one. I honor my boundaries and assertively communicate my needs without guilt or apology. Yeah, yeah, that's a big one. The Coffee and Daydreaming podcast. Remember, with a cup full of coffee and a heart full of dreams, anything is possible. I'm Amy. Please help support the show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at Coffee and Daydreaming. Subscribe, leave a review, Apple, Spotify, whatever you're on, iHeartRadio, Instagram. at Coffee and Daydreaming, TikTok at Coffee and Daydreaming. Check out the www.coffeeanddaydreaming.com. Got cool t-shirts, posters, mugs up there. The Dream Time, Dream Up. If you guys ever have a topic that you would like me to research and we can hash it out together, I would love that. Feel free to either comment it below or email me at coffee and daydreaming. All right. Thank you so much. May you have a wonderful, energizing day, or as my friend says, the day you need. I like that. I like that a lot. May you have the day you need. Okay. All right. Bye, guys.